This happened last year when I took a weekend trip to Colorado with my girlfriend, Mia. We'd been dating for a little over a year and wanted a quiet getaway in the mountains, something peaceful after a stressful few months at work. We found this cozy-looking Airbnb cabin on the edge of a small town called Leadville. It looked perfect: rustic wood, a hot tub, mountain view, and hundreds of good reviews. At least, that's what we thought. When we arrived, everything looked normal. The host had left the keys in a little lockbox by the door, and inside, the place looked just like the pictures, maybe even nicer. It had this old, wooden smell and a warm fireplace that made it feel homey. We unpacked, made dinner, and spent the first night watching a movie on the couch. It was peaceful. Nothing felt wrong, until the second night. That evening, we were getting ready for bed. Mia was in the bathroom brushing her teeth, and I was lying on the bed scrolling through my phone. I remember looking up and noticing a tiny red dot on the smoke detector above the TV. At first, I didn't think much of it. Some detectors have little LED lights, but this one wasn't blinking, it was steady, and the longer I looked, the more it didn't feel right. I got up, stood on the chair, and looked closer. That's when I saw it, inside the vent of the smoke detector. There was a tiny glass lens. It wasn't a smoke detector at all. It was a camera. I called Mia out of the bathroom and showed her. She froze. We just stared at it for a few seconds, trying to process what we were seeing. Then we started looking around the room. That's when the panic set in. Above the TV, another detector. In the corner near the bed, a small digital clock that looked off. Even the bathroom light fixture had a tiny hole in the metal cover. We used our phone flashlights and realized there were at least 4 cameras in that cabin, hidden in random objects, all pointed toward the bed and bathroom. My stomach dropped. Someone had been watching us, probably recording us. Mia started crying, and I immediately told her to pack our stuff. We didn't even bother turning off the lights, we just grabbed everything and ran to the car. It was past midnight, freezing cold, and we drove until we found the nearest gas station with cell service. I called the police and reported what we found. The officer who answered sounded too calm. Like this wasn't the first time he'd heard something like that. He told us to meet them back at the Airbnb so they could check it out. When we got there with 2 deputies, they searched the place and confirmed what we'd seen. The smoke detectors and clock both contained tiny Wi-Fi cameras with SD card slots. One of the officers said, "These things can live stream to a phone anywhere in the world." That sentence made my skin crawl. They took everything for evidence and promised to contact the host. But here's where it gets even more disturbing. The Airbnb host's profile disappeared from the app that same night. No name, no contact info, just gone. The police said they'd open an investigation, but weeks went by, and we never heard anything back. Airbnb refunded us, of course, and even apologized. But that didn't really fix what had happened, because to this day, I don't know who was watching us, or how many people might have seen those recordings. Sometimes, when I'm home alone, I still get the feeling that I'm being watched. Whenever I stay in a hotel or Airbnb now, I check everything: the clocks, the vents, even the light bulbs. If you ever rent a place and you see something that doesn't look right, trust your gut, because we almost didn't. And I don't even want to imagine what could have happened if we stayed one more night. This was my true horror story.